Welcome to Lady Lane. I'm Michelle, your menopause doula, and this is Stacy, our personal development coach. She's going to talk to us today about energy therapy that she practices called Reiki. Hi, Stacy.
Hi, yes, I am so excited to share this with you today. Reiki is my favorite energy therapy modality, and it is the one that I've been practicing the longest. So it is my favorite.
Great. It's a technique for stress reduction and relaxation that also promotes healing, right?
Yes, exactly. Reiki is a holistic healing practice that originated back in Japan in the early 20th century. And just so that we all understand, the basic premise regarding energy therapies is that everybody has energy flows through their body by using the pathways of your chakras and meridians, and flows all around us in our energy field, which most people are familiar with, called your aura. So to kind of like kick us off on this, we're going to do a little experiment. Michelle, we're going to try and feel our energy. So if you put your hands together, you can have them like this or with this. And if you put them close together, you can almost start to feel some heat or almost like a vibration in between your hands. If you really kind of focus in on that, and then you can feel, and it's almost like a pulsing or like a rubber band type effect in between your hands. Can you feel that?
Yeah.
And so that's what Reiki practitioners do to work on their clients, is to connect into this energy field. And so what I like to do, it's fun to do this in person with somebody so that you have like your hand with my hand, so that we can feel each other's energy. But I'm going to see how far out I can take this energy without disconnecting from it. And I can get pretty far out there. I don't know, how far can you get, Michelle?
It kind of feels like I'm holding a ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there are instances where there is, I've been in a group where someone had one of those balls that glows from the heat of your hands. I don't know if you've ever seen one of those, and you can kind of get it to light with like holding hands with other people. So you can see like I'm getting pretty wide here. Like,
Yeah, you are.
yeah.
Huh.
So, and I get really hot when I start doing energy. So I'm already starting to get a little sweaty here. I feel my whole body gets really, really hot. But yeah, my hands are really fiery right now. But yeah, so that's just something fun that I like to do to kind of get people to understand how you can connect with that energy, and anybody can do it. I mean, you just did it, and you can do it with your husband or kids or anything. It's a really nice kind of like little party trick.
Well, that is cool. That was fun.
Yeah. So yeah, so, and you can do it, you can connect with any part of your body doing that. So that's just something fun that you can do to kind of connect with yourself if you wanted to do that. So
Right, right. Oh, I feel the heat.
yeah. And my hands now are still super warm. So yeah, that's just for
And what
me.
does this do? Is
Um
it pulling out negative energy?
well,
Or,
right now you're just connected into your aura. So
okay.
yeah. And so basically Reiki is um, it's the belief that when you connect to this flow of life force, which is your energy flowing through your body, when it gets disrupted or you have blocks in your energy, it can lead to physical, emotional, or spiritual imbalances. So everybody says everything is energy, and that includes us as well. So if you have something blocking it, then you're going to have that issue. And that's where Reiki comes into play to help to clear away those blockages.
Okay. All right. Can you explain a little bit about what Reiki means, where it comes from?
Sure. So the word Reiki is a Japanese word. It's derived from two words, actually. Rei, which means God's wisdom or the higher power, and then ki, which is life force energy, which, we've heard that before in Chinese language. It's chi. So it's that life force energy that's always flowing through us.
And then how would you do Reiki on someone or to someone?
Okay. So when you have a session, the practitioner, which would be me, let's pretend that you're my client and I'm the therapist. Um, it is Reiki is a process that is non-invasive, that channels, and I'm used as a conduit. So I channel life force energy through me, the healing energy, and I deliver it to you on your body through your aura, through my hands, just like we did with that little experiment just then.
Okay.
Um, so what I do is it um channels the energy to go in. I do a scan to kind of feel how your body's energy feels, and then I can direct that energy to activate your body's natural healing processes. I can help realign chakras. And doing this reduces the stress energy held in your body, which helps restore balance on all levels. So, when you have a physical relaxation, you're physically more balanced, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. You just have that kind of grounding effect of kind of getting out of the like the buzz. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah,
So
it does.
yeah. So it's a really simple, natural, safe method of healing. You can do it on other people. I can do it on myself. And
Okay.
it's just a modality that helps with self-improvement, and um and it's been shown to be effective in helping people cope with illnesses, that has been beneficial. I myself have used it on my family, headaches. My son was a really kind of like hyper kid, so at bedtime, that was always a challenge. So when I started doing Reiki, like I would do it on him, and it would calm his energy down. People use it for like when they have a cold or anxiety is really good to use it for. And people use it in conjunction with their Western medicine practices for serious illnesses, like their heart disease, cancer, leukemia, things like that, not in place of proper medical care, but in addition to it.
Hmm. Okay. And you said that it can work with other medical and therapeutic techniques. How would somebody use it in conjunction with that?
Um, it's usually used to kind of counteract the side effects of um protocols that they're taking. Like, for example, if someone has cancer and they're going through chemotherapy, Reiki can be a really good complementary therapy to use to kind of bring them back into balance. They might have the anxiety or the stress, the mental angst that goes along with having a serious illness like that.
Mhm.
Over here in Europe, Reiki and energy therapies are really, I'm almost going to say, mainstream. I mean, I was introduced to this over here in Europe. It was used in my hospital when I was pregnant with my son. The nurses there used aromatherapy and other modalities with me. So it's more prevalent here. But I have heard that some American hospitals are starting to integrate Reiki therapy with their patients And again, I think, the stress of being in a hospital is really big and contributes to, um, prolonging a healing process. So if someone's at ease, they're going to have a better mindset, positive thinking, and thus, uh, healing, I think, a little bit faster.
Right, right. Hmm.
So, yeah.
How
So
did you
that's
learn how
how.
to
I'm
sorry.
sorry.
Nope. I was just gonna ask you a question.
Go ahead.
I'm very interested in it. How did you learn how to do the Reiki? Are there special requirements that you have to do? Is there a process? Is there certification? What do you have to do?
So I, like I said, was introduced to Reiki in Europe. A friend of mine started studying it first, which piqued my curiosity. But I didn't start studying it until I came back to the States and found a school near where I was living, the Valley School of Healing Arts, and I started my studies there. So you take a lesson. There's 3 levels to learning Reiki, and then you have a master teacher certification if you want to go that far, which of course I always I always want to know everything. And
Right.
so what happens is you are in your course, you're usually with other people, you're learning how the history of it and how it all functions. And then the Reiki master who's holding the course passes on what's called an attunement, which just brings kind of like a direct line of that life energy, the universal force, life energy into you so that you can then be that conduit and then work on people.
Okay.
Reiki is not, you don't have to have any special credentials. You don't have to have any kind of intellectual capacities or a spiritual anything. Reiki is available to everyone. And it's been successfully taught to thousands of people, all ages, all backgrounds. As a matter of fact, there was a Reiki student who was blind that went to my school that really was able to tap into this in an extraordinary way.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
hmm
Is it a religion?
It's not. It's spiritual in nature, but it's not a religion. There's no dogma. There's nothing that you need to believe in order to learn it or to use it. It's not dependent on a certain belief system. Um, and because Reiki, the energy, life force energy comes from God or the higher energy force or universe or whatever you particularly refer to it. Um, it does provide you a connection to your own spirituality. For me, I find it very connecting to my belief system, because you're really going into that faith and trust that you're working with another person, so you want to do the best that you can. um so yeah, the founder of Reiki, his name is Mikao Usui,
Mhm.
um and he came up with these Reiki principles that are kind of like a spiritual guideline that encourages the practitioner to just be present in the moment, release anger and worry. It cultivates gratitude. You want to work honestly and you want to be kind. So these principles, kind of connect to that spiritual compass that people have, regardless of what spirituality area they come from. And
Okay.
so those principles go are like this. It says all Reiki practitioners know these 5 principles. And it says, just for today, I will let go of anger. Just for today, I will let go of worry. Just for today, I will count my many blessings. Just for
Hmm.
today, I will do my work honestly. And just for today, I will be kind to every living thing.
Hmm.
So that is, um, the spiritualness behind Reiki. You could break it down into, individually for that, personal growth, really.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
when I was learning Reiki, schools do it differently. I appreciated the way my school did it. We had like the level one, and then there was a time break so that we could practice level one and, get used to tapping into it and using it. Um, and then before getting to that next level of level two, and then taking a break, level three. And for me, it was a lot of self development, really, because it was a new practice for me going inward and consciously practicing these principles, which was a new concept. No one in my life at that time had ever talked to me in that manner, and,
Right,
or
right.
said, here's something that you could start your day with. And
Mhm.
so that was a really nice aspect of going through the process of learning Reiki, because it gave me new ways of approaching my day and
Mhm.
how I approached actually different situations. Um, so yeah, there was a lot of personal development in that whole thing.
Yeah, I like that. I think I'm going to write that down on my whiteboard and just keep saying that to myself over and over again, and actually even work with my clients on that too, because there's a lot this can integrate into any aspect of your life.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And it doesn't have to be just even the concept of, the concept of Reiki is quite powerful. And if you, even just thinking about it and imagining that energy going through you is healing in and of itself, let alone having someone work on you to do that.
Right.
So,
So you can do it to yourself, or you can have somebody work on it with you.
yes, yes. And you can have, I could work on you one on one in my office.
Hmm.
I can, there's also an option to do distance Reiki. So I have done work on people that have been in different parts of the world, because it's energy and
Right, right.
everybody's energy, and you can send it. So as long as someone's open to receiving this energy, which is true whether it's in person or distance,
Hmm.
um, it's gonna work. I like to call myself a skeptical believer, because I know I know this works. And yet I am just, it blows my mind every time that I do it. And and I then talk to my client afterwards to hear their side of how it is. And it's really just a powerful and amazing um, process to be a part of.
Yeah, yeah. Why would somebody come to you for Reiki? Like, what are some reasons why they would come to you?
Okay. Well, it's basically the way that I describe Reiki to someone who doesn't know anything about it is, I say it's basically like going to someone and getting a massage without being touched. So it's kind of like the same reasons why you go to get a massage. You want to reduce stress or anxiety. You want to have a relaxing your mind or body. You might have might be going through a challenging time and your head is spinning. So you want to kind of slow down that mindset. um, I have people tell me that when they, like, after they have a Reiki session, they're sleeping better. Of
Hmm.
course, like I just said, it promotes emotional and personal growth. And it also can have an effect of, if someone has like an emotional block or an emotional challenge, it
Mhm.
has the opportunity to release that as well. So someone who's just has this situation that they just can't let go of, um sometimes Reiki can allow that to just go, and that's a really powerful moment when someone has that. So,
Oh, wow.
the typical things, anxiety, depression, stress, trauma, there's loneliness, low energy, um, having a hard time concentrating, things like that. That's why
Right.
someone would want to talk to somebody about Reiki.
Right, right. So now if I came to you, what would happen when I come to you for a Reiki session? Like walk me through a session.
Okay. So we would meet in my office and have, if this was like the very first time, we would have an initial consult and a brief conversation about your physical, mental, emotional health, and any problems or challenges that you're experiencing. And then once we have that done, I would ask you to lay down on my massage table and, take off your shoes, get comfortable. You're going to want to wear like comfy clothes, like yoga pants or, something comfortable. And then you'll be covered up with a nice little cozy blanket. Some practitioners put like a heating pad on their table because when you're doing energy work, your temperature usually drops. So you want to stay nice and comfy and cozy.
Mhm.
So then once you're there, um, the practitioner will probably do a little meditation and then they do a scan of your body. And this is all done with, again, with your hands. So, you're laying in front of me and I'm going to do my scan to check your body for how your energy feels in different places. So I might feel like a little buzz in my hands if I get to like where, let's say on your lower back, you're having problems, or I had someone once who had a lot of digestion issues. So when I got to her stomach and, her lower belly, like it was just like, the energy was really active. And then you go
Wow.
down to your legs and, and if everybody's feeling okay, then it might be a little bit smoother. So it's that being able to tune into what you're feeling is that first scan.
Okay.
Yep.
And is the patient or the client awake during all of this, or they have their eyes closed? Is it dark in the room? What's going on with the patient or the client?
It's so the clients usually, I ask them to just relax in, close their eyes, get into like a really like Zen state of relaxation. And like I
Mhm.
said, with like it's probably set up like a massage room. I know mine is. I have the soft music playing. Some practitioners might incorporate like essential oils or aromatherapy. There are
Mhm.
some protocols where you can use like stones and crystals or sound bowls. I mean, you can really add in and layer the um what you incorporate with your Reiki experience. I that would be something that you would just talk to with your practitioner about and what they
Okay.
offer. Like I've learned a lot of different things. So, but I don't usually get into that sort of stuff until I know them or I've worked with them a little bit more and can
Mhm.
focus in on certain areas, or if they have a certain challenge. That's when I would start incorporating like crystals or stones and some oil techniques.
So
But
would the client need to ask you for that, or is that something that you would bring to the session if you felt that they needed it, or they would have to know that that's what they wanted beforehand?
that would come into the conversation at the consultation.
Mhm.
So if you were having a specific challenge, like an emotional challenge, I might use like a sound therapy. There's tuning forks that can come into play. Like I said, the sound singing bowls, or even using special frequencies can tap into different energies that way.
Mhm.
So, is the client awake? Usually at the start of it, but with this, being in
Right.
that relaxed environment, they
Yeah.
usually fall asleep, just like my massage clients did.
Right, right.
Pretty soon you just hear the, and you're like, okay, this is good.
Right, right. And you
Yeah,
know you've hit the mark when they fall asleep.
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That's
So
great. Okay.
yeah, I mean, and using all that kind of stuff is probably going to be prompted by your practitioner. Like I said, I would, be like, lavender is really good to use for relaxation. So if someone's really, really tense, I'd probably be
Mhm.
like, hey, would you be interested in, some lavender or maybe some sage to just kind of help you, come down a little bit, and so it is really all conversational.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so we have you on my table, you're covered up, you have all this beautiful sound coming in and you're
Mm-hmm.
relaxed. And then you're relaxed, you have your eyes closed, just, taking it all in. I do my scan. And then when I'm ready, I start my session at the top of the table so you are sitting in front of me with your head at basically at my lap, you know, so
Okay.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
sitting there. And then what I do is I start working on the head first. And like I said earlier when we were doing our little experiment that I get really, really hot,
Right, right.
um, I never touch anybody's face. So, just because my hands get so hot, um, I don't want anything to happen to anybody's face. So I'm strong enough where I can work and connect in, fairly far out. But there are other practitioners that will lay their hands like directly on you. So it's like this.
Okay. But you don't have to have them. Like if I don't want them touching my face, they can do it, or you can do it from back here. And what
Yeah.
happens if someone does touch your face? Like what could happen? What is the downside to it?
There isn't for me. The downside is when I started out and I was, this is how you're taught that you lay your hands on someone's face. My energy was so strong that I actually had so much energy happening that blood vessels popped in my clients' cheeks.
Oh,
So I had to so of course I was like, oh my gosh, what's happening? I took pictures of this
right,
person's
right.
face, sent it to my Reiki master and went, what's this? She was just like, I just had I had too much power, too much energy happening.
Wow. Yeah, yeah.
So I refrain from touching people's faces because I can generate enough connection and heat
Right.
off of their face. A, a good practitioner, if you're not familiar with Reiki, should explain to you what's going to happen before you even get on the table.
Okay.
So when you hear that practitioner should tell you, hey, when we start off, I'm going to start on your face. I'm going to put my hands on your face. And at that point, they should go, if you're not comfortable with this, let me know.
Right,
And I
right.
can work off of your body.
So do you so if you are able to touch the face that or not touch the face, is that the same for the rest of your body? Like do
Yes.
you so the Reiki master would touch your whole body as if it were a massage or they
It's
either one?
the the hand it's hand placement. So with a massage, you have active hand movement manipulating the skin and muscle. And
Okay.
with Reiki, it is just a stationary position. So I'm going to start on your head and I'll have my hands over your eyes, over your ears. And then when it's not directly on the skin, I'll put my hands on you.
Okay.
So, I would, if I was working on you, I'd be like, okay, I'm going to, have my hands on your head, on the top, on the back. And
Hmm.
then there's areas around the throat, which no practitioner should ever touch your throat. That is hands off.
Okay.
And then there's also a position on the chest, which again, a good practitioner is going to tell you and get your permission if that's comfortable for you.
Okay.
So in those more intimate spaces, I usually work off the body
Okay.
unless I really feel like there's an issue there that requires my hand. And even before I would put my hand on you, I would say, listen, Michelle, I have this, feeling that I need to do a little bit more work here.
Mhm.
Do you give me your permission to touch you, like around your collarbone? So you
Okay.
should always have that conversation with your practitioner before they touch you in a place that, might feel a little bit too intimate. You
Right, right, right.
and then it's just a process of working. So you do your head work. And then, like I said, there are some neck areas. You have your neck chakra. So you want to work on that area. There's some balancing with the chest and head. And then because you're face up when you start, I'm working my way down. People don't normally have their bellies touched,
Mm-hmm.
but during Reiki, there is a position, and usually because my hands are so hot, people welcome that sensation of heat on their
Oh,
bellies. So then usually from like the waist down, I will have my hands directly on the client. But
mhm.
again, you have your clothes on, there's a, big fluffy blanket on you.
Right,
So
right.
there are
So
layers.
it's not direct contact on you.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
And again, that's how I was taught how to work. Someone might not have a big fluffy blanket, someone just might have a sheet. They
Okay.
might not have anything at all for like if it's the summertime, but I always want to have my client feel safe. So I
Mm-hmm.
always have some sort of layer on them to just kind of, allow them that sensation.
And are there some practitioners, like when you go to the doctor? I know when I go to the gynecologist, another doctor or nurse comes in. Is that part of this as well? Like someone else will come in just to be a third person in the room? Or is it really like an intimate where it's the two of you and is it like that more?
It's um I have never had a session with a third party in the room
Okay.
outside of my like clinicals as a
Okay.
student.
Right, right.
So, so yeah, it's more, it's, in line with, the whole massage therapy idea.
Right, right. Okay.
Yeah. So then I work down the front of your body, I get to your feet. People are particular about their feet. There's no, again, no rubbing or, it's just a static hold that I have. Then
Mhm.
I have you roll over and you're face down on the table. And then I have a whole protocol that goes down, excuse me, again, from the top of your head down to your feet. And I end with a meditation at your feet at the end.
Okay, so you do the whole front, flip over, and then you do the whole back.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Yeah.
then what is the client supposed to feel, or what am I going to feel when this is over?
Okay. So you're going to be very relaxed. Um, you're going to, some people have had, like I said, an emotional release, where it could be like a big exhale or a big burp or crying has happened.
Uh-huh.
I've had someone who, when I started on them, felt like I was bringing, how did she say it? Like she felt like she was being crushed. So
Oh,
whatever it was, like the issue that she was having just really came down on her.
wow.
And, and so we had to work on that. That was a really intense situation. But at
Mhm.
the end of it, you have that release and you have that healing taking place. Um, what I do at the end, so, I kind of bring you back into your body because you are in such a relaxed state.
Mhm.
We do some grounding work, which kind of brings you back into your body. Um, and I usually step out for a few minutes just to allow that person to kind of wake up. I provide them with some water. And then when they're feeling back alive, we share our experiences. So there are times where I can get images like the person who had stomach problems. I could see like a melted silver lava kind of thing going through their intestines, and kind of being like, trying to clear it out. Or I had another client, for some reason, I kept seeing this fallen tree in a forest. And of course, none of this stuff makes any sense to me because I don't know what's happening, in the background of their lives. So I'm just like, okay, so the tree. And this one woman that I was working with just was like, oh my gosh, and it was very significant for her. And then she usually, this is where my life coaching comes into play, because a
Uh-huh.
lot of people will then go, okay, well, this is, for me, what that means is, and it's usually one of their challenges or their hurdles that they're trying to deal with. And then we can kind of have like a little coaching session at the end. But I
Oh,
never do any kind of like interpreting. I would never say, oh, this fallen log in the forest. Well, that means that,
right, right.
you're going to win
Yeah,
the lottery. And, like, no, 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 no.
that'd be nice.
I would love to give someone that message.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
You get the lottery numbers as you're doing it. Ah, two.
Yeah, I wish. Hasn't happened yet, but when it does, I'll let you know. Actually, I
Please
won't.
do.
It'll just disappear. If I ever disappear, you'll know what happened.
No, 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 don't disappear.
Yeah.
Is this mostly for adults, or can you do this on children? Well, you said you did it with Trevor when he was younger, trying to put
Yes.
him to sleep. I wish
Yeah.
I was known
You
about that
can
because
use
I have
it.
one too.
Yeah, you can use it on any age of person. Yeah, I used it on Trevor, and it was really sweet because when I was learning this, he was still, cute little, 6 or 7 year old. And
Right,
it got
right,
to the
right.
point where I was doing this every night with him. And at first, it was when he was like kind of like lulling into sleep, and I would just kind of like do it without him seeing it. But then we started doing it together. And then pretty soon, like he was, going to his sister and being like this. And I was like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm doing Reiki on Sarah. So that was pretty cool.
That
Um,
is cool. That's
yeah,
cute.
but no, I mean, it's really good on kids. It's fun, it's interesting, it's non-invasive.
It
You can
sounds
use
it.
it on your pets, so if you have an
Oh,
anxious
yeah,
pet,
yeah. Yeah,
um,
yeah.
I know people have used it on their cars. My Reiki master, who is just, I love her so much. She told me that she Reiki'd her food because all things are energy, and she didn't, wasn't sure of how the process of how anything was cultivated. So she would
Hmm.
cleanse her food before she ate it.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
very
which was,
interesting.
I thought, super interesting. I've never gone that far myself with my
Yeah,
Reiki. I
yeah.
have Reiki'd
Huh.
my car before.
Okay. Okay.
And yeah, and so yeah, it's just kind of like once you're in it, you kind of incorporate it just into your kind of daily life kind of thing.
Huh. Oh, that is
So
very
yeah.
interesting.
And like I said, you can do it from a distance.
Hmm.
There is that. Um, so you don't have to be one-on-one. I have done sessions on people. I think I was in Virginia Beach one time, and I did it on a friend who, I think he was in Annapolis. And yeah, and then of course you can do it in person. So, and I think the coolest thing as far as like doing distance work was when my husband Kent, when we first started talking, I lived in central Pennsylvania doing my coaching and things like that. And he got a hold of me. He, was in Switzerland, and he was in a cancer rehab center in Geis. And he saw what I was doing. I guess I was talking about it online on Facebook or something. And he got in touch with me and kind of asked me a little bit about it. And we were kind of reconnecting and just talking, and he was telling me about his situation. And so I just offered, I was like, what could it hurt? Let's see what happens. And so I did a distance session on him, and it was really intense. And it was really interesting because um, the images that I saw during that session was a lot of gold and yellow, and it was like electric bolts and buzzing, and the word frenetic kept kind of floating around in my head, which was, again, meant nothing to me, but it was a really not typical word.
Yeah.
So
What
anyway,
does that word mean?
frenetic is just kind of like it kind of goes with buzzy and chaotic,
Okay.
and it just kind of like was and that word was in perfect sync with the like electric bolt kind of things that I was seeing.
Yeah, yeah.
So of course I was just like, I don't know what any of this means, but the next day Ken and I FaceTimed, and he was like, yeah, I slept pretty good, and he had art therapy the next day. And he was, I was telling him about what I had experienced with, frenetic and the colors and the lightning bolts. And then he was like, well, I had art therapy. Let me show you what I made. And I think, Michelle, you can kind of put this up on screen for everybody to see.
Yeah,
And the
yeah.
two of us were just like, that's amazing. So
That
it
it
was,
is. Yeah, when everyone sees what it is, that is amazing.
yeah, it's just,
Yeah.
it's those types of experiences that make me that skeptical believer. It's just
Yeah.
when I'm in it and I'm in the process, I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, I totally know what I'm doing, but I'm like kind of going, is this really? And then in the end, when you get that, you have that conversation with your client, then you're like, oh my gosh, yeah, that's just how it works. It's just how
That's
it works.
amazing. It's
So,
amazing. It's so interesting, this whole therapy. I would love to maybe do a session online so everyone can see what it
oh
is
yeah.
that you do. Yeah, that would be really cool. Maybe for our next session, we should do that and
Okay.
have.
Yeah, we'll have to figure out how we can do that. Maybe
I
maybe
get
I can
really bad migraines. I wonder if next time I have a migraine, we can do it and see if it works. Well, I'm
yes.
sure it will work, but let's show everybody how it works.
Yeah, I think that would be a
That'll
really
be
cool
fun.
idea.
Yeah, that would be
Um,
really cool.
mhm. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Good.
yeah, so that's Reiki in a nutshell. There's lots of different kinds of modalities when it comes to energy therapy. So Reiki isn't the only one.
Hmm.
Um, there is one from Dr. Randolph Stone called Polarity, which I have a certification in that. And that has a lot of foundation in Ayurvedic theories. And then there is the integrated energy therapy, which is goes into the kind of cellular level. I mean, there's all different kinds of energy work, craniosacral, myofascial. I mean, we could talk for hours about just the different modalities of energy therapies out there. But
Hmm.
for anyone who's interested, this is just a good intro to what Reiki is, how it's performed, and if there's um, a different type of modality that you've heard of or are more interested in, then definitely research it and find someone to talk to about it to make sure that that's the road you want to go down. You can do, you're not limited to, if once you do Reiki, you can only do Reiki. You can,
Right.
it's open to everything. So,
Right.
but for me, it's important that someone find something that they connect with, that works
Mhm.
for them, that they're comfortable with. And again, whether it's an energy practitioner, a holistic healer, a life coach, a doula,
Mhm.
the most important thing is having trust with that person and building a loving relationship with
Yeah.
the person that you're working with. For me, that's by far
Absolutely.
the most important thing.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was an interesting segment. Thank you so much, Stacy, for sharing all of that information with us. I can't wait to do one. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I'm like looking forward to my next migraine now.
Yeah. We're
Finally,
good.
something came out of it.
Yay. Yes, and we'll have to do a quick little like 2-minute follow-up of you going, here's my experience having distance Reiki with Stacy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That'll be super
Absolutely.
cool.
That'd be super cool. All right. Well, thank you everybody who has followed us through this journey today. It was super informative and very exciting.
Mhm.
I'm going to go back and listen to it a couple of times now.
Good.
Um, well, thank you all. I don't have my script up, so I don't know what I'm supposed to say to end all of this, but join us next time as we get through our Lady Lane. We're doing. All right, here we go. It's all right. Look at it. Look at it. No, I can't do it. Let me do it again. brain's not working. Today about energy therapy.
It's been a long time since you did the intro, huh?
It has been a long
Practice.
time. I know I haven't done it. Although I've read this like a million times, but all right. That's all right. Look at it. Look at it. No rush. This is the good thing about not having sponsors. Nobody cares what we're doing. I can do this, I promise. Hi, welcome to Lady Lane. I'm Michelle, your menopause doula, and this is Stacy, the person.
Yes, no.
Yes, no,
Yeah.
up, down.
Okay,
Oh,
so
down.